cynicism is gone.
Hello everyone, Joshua Myers here, and welcome to a new series, what I would like to call my Revisited series. Now what this is that I'm basically going over some of my older reviews, much older reviews, and just basically revisiting movies and trying to give my current thoughts on them. Because here's the thing, my older reviews of these are, of course, old. They don't match my current style of how I review movies or anything like that. So, I was like, why not do this? And this was partially inspired by the channel Drunk Dumbs. Yes, Lee McCoy. He was the one who inspired me to do revisited reviews. He's done some on his channel. I was like, you know what, if he could do them, why can't I? You know, especially since a lot of my older reviews are not very in-depth, like they don't match my current production value or anything like that, or the way I talk about movies in my reviews. My thoughts on these movies could change over time. I'm very interested in seeing how my thoughts on these movies I've reviewed long ago have changed now, and like whether they changed or not. But yeah, I'm very curious, and if you guys like these videos, just let me know. If so, I'll probably do more of them. But I'm going to do more of them anyway, because my thoughts is basically not re-uploading my older reviews and just basically uploading these reviews. So, because these are my current thoughts and everything, so. And the movie that I'm going to be revisiting today is the original Halloween from 1978.
From director John Carpenter, the box office blockbuster, Halloween. Jamie Lee Curtis in the horror classic of all time. It was a night of terror, and those who survived will never forget Halloween.
What was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
The original Halloween.
Halloween stars Donald Pleasence, Jamie Lee Curtis, Nancy Loomis, PJ Soles, Charles Cyphers, Kyle Richards, and is directed by John Carpenter. The plot of John Carpenter's Halloween is that on a cold night in 1963, 6-year-old Michael Myers brutally murdered his 17-year-old sister Judith. He was sentenced and locked away for 15 years, but on October 30th, 1978, while being transferred for a court date, 21-year-old Michael Myers steals a car and escapes Smith's Grove. He returns to his quiet hometown of Haddonfield, Illinois, where he looked for his next victim. So starting off with my positives, honestly, and that is, well, obviously, I think this is definitely an iconic movie. It's definitely an iconic horror film. It's basically like the Godfather of horror films, basically. It's up there with Psycho and stuff like that, that basically helped shape horror as we currently know it. And honestly, just for that alone, deserves a positive. Also too, I really like, for the most part, the cinematography. The cinematography is pretty good for the most part. I especially love the cinematography for the night shots, especially with the blue tint filter indicating, you know, the blue sky and everything. And it does give off a creepy vibe, especially at night. And there's sometimes it even gives off a creepy vibe during the day. And you wouldn't think like a movie would give off a creepy atmospheric vibe during daylight. But this movie definitely does that. Definitely another positive for me is Donald Pleasence, and man, is this guy really good. I've only seen him in one other movie, and that was Escape from New York, the first one. Haven't seen any of his other movies, but so far this is probably, from what I'm seeing, his best performance. Well, scratch that, I've seen him in the other Halloween films too, but this is definitely some of what you could tell Donald Pleasence really seemed to care about, character and everything like that, and gives off a really great performance. And sure, a lot of it is exposition, but the way he reads his expositional dialogue is just like, it's like, I mean, like that speech he gives about Michael Myers and everything, and just building up how evil Myers is, and as like, I met 16 years ago. I was told there's nothing left. No reason, no conscience, no understanding, even in the most rudimentary sense of life or death, good or evil, right or wrong. I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face in. The blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil. I mean, just that right there is just chills, actually, and that's because a lot of it was due to Donald Pleasence's performance and line delivery. Just making it makes it much more than just expositional dialogue. You know, it really builds up how evil Michael Myers is as a character and how, like, why you're supposed to be scared of him. And that really helps build this boogeyman persona up for Michael Myers. And speaking of which, another positive I have is Michael Myers himself, actually. First of all, love the portrayal by Nick Castle in this original movie. This is another actor I heavily take a lot of his portrayal in my portrayal of Michael Myers. And honestly, it's like, also too, that mask alone is just so, not only is it iconic, it's creepy. And it's probably why it's iconic, because it's such a creepy mask, actually. And it perfectly encapsulates, like, the descriptions what Donald Pleasence was saying, you know, like the Zacchaeus eyes, the devil's eyes, and stuff like that, you know, and just having this pale white face and everything, not much emotion, and it's just creepy. It's just so creepy. And the fact that Nick Castle would sometimes play Michael Myers in almost kind of like animalistic way. My favorite moment of that is where, like, that showcases that the most, where it's almost animalistic, is after he kills Linda's boyfriend Bob, and he's just like, just kind of like almost admiring his work. It's like, that right there, that's creepy. That's genuinely creepy and unnerving. And so yeah, I love Michael Myers in this. I love Loomis in this. Donald Pleasence. I also love the music. The music is iconic and it's actually pretty creepy. Probably the creepiest bits of music from here, and probably my 2 favorite tracks, is the main title theme and Laurie's theme, which at times over the course of the film, Laurie's theme becomes pretty creepy. It kind of starts off that way, like during scenes, like just scenes of Jamie Lee Curtis walking around during the daylight, and that music plays, and it's creepy. Also too, that last act especially is definitely intense, actually. The most intense thing of this movie, and they really succeed in that, actually. I love that last act and the whole ending with, like, you know, Myers being shot, like, several times, him going down, you think it's over and everything, and then Donald Pleasence walks out and looks down, and him and the audience doesn't see his body. His body is completely vanished. And it plays the Halloween theme and everything, going, like, showcasing all the different locations throughout the film, like the different houses leading to the Myers house, and you're hearing he's breathing over the music, like, that is just creepy right there. Like, no joke. And yeah, I love the last act of this movie. I love it. But honestly, for me, that's where the real positive stops, actually. And there's a few things I'm rather mixed on, so let's move on to that. Even though I love the last act, there's some parts of the last act I think are kind of a bit, like, they could have shortened things in the last act, actually. Like, cause it's like, if you wanted to showcase them, you know, no matter what you do to Myers, he'll just keep on coming back. I get that, but the way they handle it here, I think they did a bit too much, to where even the surprise at the end of him getting shot multiple times and everything is kind of not as effective. I mean, just imagine, like, let's say if Laurie tried to attack him twice, let's say. Just twice, that's it. and or one time, and it's like he gets up and everything, and then you see Loomis and everything. He shoots Michael several times, falls down, and you really think he's dead. 100% think he's dead. And then you see, I think that would have been even more impactful and actually more creepy, actually. You know, because it's like, wait, so, and that sparked up even more of the debate of whether or not is Michael supernatural? Is he human? What is he? In fact, is Michael Myers even a man at all? Is he like an alien or something like that? I don't know. And it just leaves you thinking, and that I think that would have worked a lot better, but you know, it is what it is. But it's not like something that completely distracts from the movie for me. I still love that third act, like climax. I still love that. Also, another thing I'm mixed on is while they do a decent job of setting up these characters and that, they're not 100% like stereotypical canon fodder you see in 80s slasher movies and that. I mean, this is basically the film that birthed a lot of those 80s slasher movies and that. There's still a lot that could have been done to basically make these characters feel even more like real people and to where you care about them. I just felt like for certain characters, like especially like characters like Linda and Bob, you don't really get to know them that well. It's like, what do I know about Linda? She's apparently a cheerleader, at least I think she is. She's one of Laurie's friends. She's also friends with Annie, and that's about it. That's all I know about Linda. And then what I know about Bob. The only thing I know about Bob is that he is Linda's boyfriend. That's all I know. And that they end up having sex and they die. That's it. That's all I know about Bob and Linda. So in the end, they just basically become cannon fodder because I don't know that much to really care about them. Similarly goes to Annie, played by Nancy Loomis. And while I do think they do a better job with developing her character a bit than Bob and Linda, still the same issue. Like, I know a little bit more about Annie. I know that she's kind of a smart aleck, kind of a, she wants to be the party girl and everything, it seems like. And also too, of course, I know her dad's the sheriff, Sheriff Brackett, and everything. They do a little bit of a better job with Annie in this case for characterization, because it's like, I know a little bit more about Annie than I do with Bob and Linda, Also in regards to that too, there's this whole character that she's mentioning, her boyfriend Paul, and we never see Paul. We only hear him on the phone. That's something that was rectified in Rob Zombie's Halloween, where you actually got to see Paul for the first time. It's like, oh hey, there's Paul. I just wish for the side characters you could have done more to, it's like, and that even goes for Laurie Strode. Now, definitely I think she's the most developed character. You definitely know, like, about her, like, home life. Her father's a realtor and that, and everything. She sometimes would help her father out with his realty company. That she's shy, she's kind of more innocent, timid girl, kind of the girl next door type figure. She doesn't really go on dates or anything like that. She has a crush on a boy, Ben Tramer. She is smart, she seems to do well in school. So there's a bit more to it. Plus, about her friends and everything like that. So, and kind of how she interacts with them. She's a good, babysitter and that. She stays to watch not only the kids she was supposed to watch, but also one of like the kid that Annie was supposed to watch, Lindsay, and she does everything she could to keep them safe and everything. So yeah, there is a lot more characterization with Laurie Strode than her friends and that. I actually scratched that. This is not a mixed aspect, because the more I thought about it, it's actually more of a positive, because I actually do like Laurie Strode in this, and I do like Jamie Lee Curtis, so scratch that. I don't know what I was thinking, so really the only issue only thing I'm rather mixed on is, just the side characters. And unfortunately, I do have some negatives, so let's move on to that. Biggest negative for me is I feel like sometimes the pacing could be a bit stretched out. You know, and I know that's intentional to supposedly build tension in that, but there's a lot of times where there's scenes that you could easily cut out. You know, it's like there's not really much tension going on in a lot of these scenes, and then, you know, not even doing really much to help build character, like, for example, Andy getting stuck in the window. Did we really need that scene there? You know, there's certain things like that could just be removed from the film. So, sure, you could call this a nitpick, but it's like, it's just kind of like, once you think about it. So, okay, once you're introduced to Linda's boyfriend, Bob, it's like, just watch this thing. You don't know what I mean.
Okay, so we're gonna do. First we go inside, right? Then we'll just talk a little, and then Annie will distract Lindsay. That's when we go upstairs to the first bedroom on the left. You got it?
Okay, first I rip your clothes off.
So don't rip my blouse. It's expensive, idiot.
Then you rip my clothes off. Then we rip Lindsay's clothes off. Yeah, I think I got it.
Totally.
Wait a second. Like, did he just said who I think? Like, did he just mention who I think he mentioned?
Then we rip Lindsay's clothes off. Yeah, I think I got it.
So you guys will rip whose clothes?
Then we rip Lindsay's clothes off.
Rip Lindsay's clothes? Isn't Lindsay the little girl Annie's babysitting Kyle Richards' character? Ew, that is disgusting. Bad Bob. Bad Bob. No wonder why he got killed. But honestly, for me, that's it with my negatives, so let's move on to my rating. So with that said, I'm going to give John Carpenter's Halloween a 4 out of 5 stars. Now, honestly, my initial rating was a bit higher than this when I first did my review. There were some things I didn't notice. There are a few flaws with the movie, but it is a great horror movie. It is a great slasher movie. It's just a great movie overall. And personally, I mean, it's a classic for a reason. And, you know, I can keep on going on in more detail and more in depth with this movie than even this. But honestly, there's tons of people out there who have gone way more in depth than even I am. And honestly, a lot of that's, like, if I were to mention a lot of stuff, it's like, tons of people, other people have already said that stuff. So if you want a more in-depth review, just go on to any other review channels and that, or analysis videos and stuff like that, because there's plenty of them on this movie that probably cover it a lot better than I probably could. So that's it for this review. Thank you guys for watching, and remember, everyone's entitled to one good scare.